Hey guys, behind me I have my Mazdaspeed 6. I recently just installed a boost gauge and I want to show you guys how I did that, especially for how you do that for this specific car, but I'll also show you how to do it for any car that's turbo. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It helps a bunch, and it also it helps me keep making these videos, kind of gives me motivation. Give me a chance, hit that subscribe button, and I'll keep posting some videos. So let's get to how I install this boost gauge. Alright guys, starting with the gauge itself, when you turn the car on, the gauge turns on automatically, and it's a 7-color changing gauge. So you click the button right here and it'll change to the different colors. And then if you go to 1, it can change like automatically. Let's see, I think it's this one right here. Maybe one more. There we go. It'll just change by itself, which is kind of cool. It was like 40 bucks. It's a glow shift gauge, and I got it mostly just because it looks cool. I plan on doing like an AFR gauge and maybe an oil temp gauge or something like that in the other two spots. The gauge I bought just on like Amazon is like 40 bucks. It's just a glow shift boost gauge. The piece that I mounted it to, like the actual cluster thing itself, is I bought it off Google, I think, and it was like 30 bucks, and that was just for like a Mazdaspeed 3, so it didn't actually fit like the car, but I bought it because it has like the same texture, you know, as like the interior, so it kind of blends in and looks like almost stock. So I bought that, and then I just used scissors and cut it down to, you know, where it fit the line. It's still not perfect. I'll probably try to bend it a little bit to make it, you know, fit like perfect how you'd want it, you know. But that's the gauge itself. I'll show you how I wired it up and everything. We'll start with the boost hose and how I did that. Okay, to wire any boost gauge, you just need to find, obviously it has to be a turbo car, or I guess supercharged car, it has to have boost, but you gotta find a vacuum line. So if you come right here where my blow-off valve is, that's usually the easiest way. So my blow-off valve is right here, and then that's the vacuum line. That black hose is vacuum line, and usually you can just look it up online, like whatever car you have, you just look up the forum and look up like where vacuum lines are and stuff. But so that black hose right there with the red zip ties is vacuum line, and then the boost gauge comes with this little T right there. So I cut that hose, you plug the T in, and then zip ties help, but I guess you don't necessarily need those. They just, you know, added protection. So you cut the vacuum line, put the T in, and then you run the boost hose that it came with it, which is that clear hose right there. And I heard that the clear hose isn't like that durable, because it's kind of like squishy, so it can be a little bit off on your boost reading. So you might want to change that out eventually, but I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, so you tee that off, your vacuum line, you tee that off and you put your boost hose in, and then if you follow it down, you just want to run it through a firewall. So your firewall is like the little metal like sheet that separates you from your engine bay, and so pretty much there's like little rubber grommets down there, and you can follow like just other wires, and that's pretty much how you can find it. So it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see how there's wires down there in the corner. So you just find those wires, and then there'll be like a rubber piece, and you can either punch a hole into it, or if you can fit your vacuum line, like if it's loose enough, you can just fit your vacuum line. But so you'll go there and you'll push it through that rubber piece, and then as you can see, it just pops out right there. So I ended up just punching a hole right through it because it was so tight that it wouldn't let me feed it through. But yeah, so you just feed it through, and then mine's pulled out right now to show you guys, but you feed it through, and then you'll just tuck it behind like your dash area, and make sure it's zip tied out of the way so your feet don't get caught on it or anything. But then you put it through the dash and you'll just snake it through. And I ended up pulling out the radio for it, like just pulling on the radio, and it just like gave me enough room so that I could put the vacuum line behind it. And then yeah, so I'll show you guys. This is just velcroed on for now. It seemed like the best way to do it. As you can see, it was on there pretty tight. But so the vacuum line or the boost hose, whatever, goes from the engine bay all the way through and then kind of pops up here, and it just goes into the back of the gauge. And then my wires go under the radio and they just connect to my cigarette lighter, because the cigarette lighter turns on and off with the car. So that's what you're looking for. Originally I was gonna just hot wire it straight to the battery and have like a little switch right here, but I thought it would just be a lot cleaner if I did it with the when the car turns on and off. So how I got it behind the radio and everything, you just have to pull out this console and your shift console. I'll show you how to do that right now. Okay, so you'll pull this out just by really tugging on it. You have to kind of be pretty aggressive with it, and yeah, you just kind of pull on it. I'll show you hopefully with one hand. See right there, it just popped out, and there's just like 3 clips right there. And then same thing on the other side. It's kind of difficult, but hopefully I can do it with one hand. You just have to kind of have to mess with it. But there we go. It's just like, you can see right here, there's like clips you just have to pull out, and then that comes out. So there's that. As you can see, there's all the raw wires and stuff. And then you got to pull off your shift knob. The shift knob just unthreads, as you probably already know. It's not too complicated. So that shift knob comes off, and then the same thing happens. You just have to pull that out, and then you'll see, you know, all your change to fall out either. So take that out, and then you pull this guy off, and there's the raw shifter as well. There's all that raw shifter and everything. But so pretty much what happens is you'll have these wires right here, and they go right, as you can see, right to your cigarette lighter on the other side. So cigarette lighter right there, and then you go to the blue wire, this blue wire right here, and I wanted my cigarette lighter to keep working, so I just tapped into it and then put this white electrical wire just right into it. So the blue wire, I didn't even cut it or anything. I just stripped that, like, the rubber coating on it, and then you'll have bare wiring, and you just connect the white wire. And then the same thing with this radio, you just have to pull on it from the bottom. This one's a little bit more tough. You have to get kind of aggressive with it. But yeah, you just pull that out, and then you can snake that white wire all the way up behind it, and then you're good to go. It's all wired. So there's all the wires, and then behind there's my other wire. Also, the navigation used to be here, so I'm sure you could have used one of those wires, but none of them were working for me, so I don't know what that meant. But one of the wires was a ground, so I just used this black wire right here that you can see. I used that for my ground and just stripped one of the other navigation wires, and that's how I got it. So yeah, that's all you really need for a boost gauge. You just need the boost hose that goes to one of your vacuum lines and electrical wire. So I'll show you guys one more time, but yeah, that's my boost gauge install. I hope you guys like this video, and hopefully it helped somebody out there. If you guys want to keep seeing more videos, please hit that thumbs up and maybe subscribe. I'll keep posting, and I will catch you guys next time.